Welcome to the WineDown, an afternoon podcast where two techie blokes sit down over a bowl of wine and chat about what's happening in the world of tech. Enjoy while Scott and Nick open up about their week in technology.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the WineDown. I'm Nick and this is
Scott.
Hello, Scott. How are you?
Good, thank you, Nick.
Excellent.
Well,
So, Scott, where are we? What are we drinking?
Hey, we're at the DYRSL today.
Aha.
How about that?
Awesome.
It's been a while since we've been back
It
here.
has been over a year since we've been here.
And guess what? A year ago,
Yeah.
we chose the 2018 version of the Redmond.
Excellent.
So guess what we've got this year?
Oh, God. And I don't remember it, which meant it probably wasn't that good.
Or it was very good and... So this is the lovely Redmond Coonawarra. They do a Cab Sav and a Shiraz. So this is the 2019 Shiraz down in that Coonawarra area, South Australia.
Oh, let's try it out. Let's see what it's like.
As the last bit sits in the bottle.
Yeah, that's not too bad. It's a pub wine, but it's okay. It's quite drinkable.
It's a decent pub wine.
Yeah.
It's not your average sort of. Actually, we don't get a lot of the. I've just mistakenly put petrol in the bottle anymore.
Yeah,
sort of pub wines here.
No, we don't. You're right.
And even strangely enough, even the cask wines are getting a lot better.
They are. Well, when I go camping, I'm a big fan of a cask wine because of all the reasons why you take one camping, and there's some very nice cask reds.
And you know why?
Go on.
Because when you open a bottle like this and it sits here, let's just say you open a bottle, you pour a glass out or whatever, the air's sitting into it, yeah, it's exposed, great, it sits there. And if you don't finish it that night,
Yes.
of course, it's just sitting there all night, bottle open, away you go,
Oxidizing.
yeah. And if you don't finish it the next night for some reason, well, I don't understand the concept of a
I don't
half-full
understand
bottle,
that concept,
anyway,
but apparently
it does
some people
happen.
do that.
I've been
Yep.
told it does happen. So you could be a few days before you get to the end of the bottle and you sort of realize, oh, this doesn't taste as good anymore.
By
and
the end, it's not very nice, is
no.
it?
So in a cask, if you think they've got those little rubber stopper things,
Yep.
you squeeze it and the wine comes out
But
of
it's
the
not
cask.
putting air back in.
There's
right?
no air.
Yeah.
It's just as well sealed. And we got a 5-litre cask of a beautiful Cab Sav out of K Brothers down in the in that sort of Barossa McLaren Vale region, and it lasted for. Well, not very long, but it lasted more than a week quite comfortably.
That's just pretty impressive. Not the fact that the wine was nice, the fact that 5 litres lasted you more than a week. But anyway, cool. So what are we talking about today?
Look, the other day we were talking about data a bit, and we can do all sorts of wonderful things with data, but it does have a few prerequisites.
Oh, it certainly does.
And yeah, it sounds like we will go and say, oh look, you can produce a report that does this, or you can grab this data and do that, or you can do some AI to project this.
Yep.
But that's all very well. But if you haven't got the data foundation set up correctly, there's nothing you can do.
So data foundation, right? We talk to clients about this all the time. What's data foundation?
Let's go back to a step. You don't necessarily have to have your data all in one place, but you do have to have it accessible. So either via an API or some sort of interface, I need to know that if I need data out of System A and System B and System C, I can go and get it somehow real time.
But I probably also need some way to link it together.
Yes.
Right? So, people, years ago when I was doing work with accountants, used to moan that I'd go and see a customer and they say, well, I don't want to enter this data 3 times into 3 different systems. I want to enter it one and it appear in all sorts of different systems, or at least be able to report it. And that means to report it, you've got to have what we call a common key.
Ooh.
Something which is common, for example, a customer ID in a school, a student ID.
Yeah.
But it's got to be common throughout the systems, otherwise it's very hard to link them back together.
That sounds fair.
There you go. So, talk about all our data talking to each other. What type of systems need to talk to each other, Scott?
Let's think about let's look at the average business. ABC widgets, for example.
Yep.
Assuming there's not actually a business called ABC widgets, but
probably
anyway,
is, but there you go.
they're going to have some sort of finance platform. Let's just say it's Xero, maybe, or maybe even if it's MYOB or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. They've got a finance platform where all their finance data is going to be entered. They run their business. They do their P&Ls, their balance sheets, and so forth, etc., etc. They're also going to have some sort of client relationship system.
Yep.
Now, everybody has one of these, at a basic level, it's called a spreadsheet.
Or a list of customers.
A list of customers
yeah.
in some document somewhere written down or whatever it is. But there is some sort of client CRM, client relationship management platform. Generally, it's got all the details on your clients in it. It's got, you can actually activate some marketing from there. You can put support calls in and do client support, that sort of thing. But you've got some system that's doing that process.
So that's called a CRM.
Generally a CRM, broadly. And look, there's lots of different flavours. Sometimes the CRMs link into your operational systems.
Yep.
Sometimes they don't. Separate operational systems could be manufacturing systems. It could be whatever type of business you are.
Yep.
It could be applications built for that sort of business to produce your specialty product or to do your specialty thing in the market, whatever it is. That's that. The thing is, unless all these applications understand how to talk to each other, as in they play well in the sandpit,
Yep.
then you've got a problem.
So this is where something like Xero's done amazingly well, because they set themselves up from the very beginning as a marketplace for other applications, which talk well with Xero. And they've tried to make finance the core of a business, which is not a bad assumption, right? It's an okay assumption.
It's both an important assumption and a perhaps overinflated assumption.
I'm
but
sure
yes.
if I'm an accountant, that's my view on the world. But
Yes.
but we're not talking about this thing in the middle and everything coming off it. We're talking about everything talking to everything,
I
right?
thought IT was the core of the business.
Of course it is.
And every now and then we also sell something to keep that working. So the whole thing is, though, Xero's very good because it's got APIs and people can write interfaces to it to go and get data to post an invoice. So if you sell something in your bit of sales software, which could be your CRM or your operational platform, great, let's poke that into Xero and record the sale.
Yep. Which makes sense because you can then do your finance reporting out of Xero.
Exactly.
But also gives you some automation.
It does. And by the way, when I say record the sale, you may not need to necessarily record every sale in Xero. Xero doesn't need to have, if you make 10,000 sales a day of individual little items, it doesn't need to have those 10,000 records. What it does need to know is what was the total sales for the day. And let's put that in as revenue into Xero, for example.
Depending on how you want to report your finances, talk to your finance team. So all these systems talking to each other traditionally was really hard. I remember in the world where we had servers, on premises and stuff like that, to get things to talk to each other was nefarious and difficult.
At a basic level, you would produce some sort of an export file out of System A and try to feed it into System B and hope it works. At a very basic level, you produce a report out of System A and you type it into System B.
Yeah, but now there's this thing we call an API.
Yes.
What's an API, Scott?
An application programming interface.
Cool, what does it do?
I'm thinking I'll throw that one your way, actually, Nick.
This is one of my evil questions I ask people. So API is simply a way for computer programs to talk to other computer programs. Yes. And there's various mechanisms for them. For example, the way your operating system talks to the hard disk or the SSD is via an API. Not one you use so much, but via an API. The way Xero talks to its partner applications, the way your operation system talks to your CRM, is via an API.
Yes.
And traditionally, APIs on premises were very, very difficult to configure because you need all sorts of things like certificates and security and all sorts of stuff. But with the advent of cloud, and specifically software as a service, this is all totally changed.
In fact, I would say that for the cloud-based applications, these are table stakes these days.
Yeah, you can't ship a cloud-based application without an API.
No, because this is where most of the integration comes from, and the whole thing is you're not typing data into the cloud apps. You've really got to put that stuff in automatically.
So and everything has an API, like Office 365 has an API. QuickBooks Online has an API. Xero has an API. Even MYOB's cloudy version has an API.
Well, I didn't know that.
And I've worked with it. And some are good and some are bad. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
but if table stakes for cloud applications is an API, of course. So once I've got that data via API and apps can talk to each other things can talk to my apps, and that's where reporting tools come in.
Exactly. So if you know that you need, for example, some customer records out of your CRM,
Yep.
and you know that these customers bought these particular products that maybe exist in your operational platform,
Yep.
and you want to see, by the way, if they paid their invoices, which is all the data in your finance platform, you can go and grab that automatically and produce a nice little report that your sales team can look at and say, okay, I've got a customer here that's paying all their invoices on time, I've got a customer here that's ordering these items, let's go and put a special program together for them to sell more.
Yep, no, cool. No, so that reporting, and that's where applications like Power BI and those other dashboarding applications really work well, but only if your apps are supporting that API.
That's right.
Okay, so that's interesting. So to make data work in your business, all your apps need to talk to each other. That gives you opportunity for automation. We do it via APIs, and it's better in the cloud.
It's a lot easier in the cloud because you're not managing all the internal systems or systems on your premises.
Yep.
It's all done for you. They're updated. If anything goes wrong, things are fixed regularly.
So we've talked about how we get to this data and do all those sorts of things. The next question is, why?
Well, here's the thing. How are we going to make your business more efficient? Part of it is, do you have visibility across your business of what's actually happening? Do you know that all these events that link together from different parts of the business can actually be more efficient, or create efficiency gains for you? Are they holding you up? Do you know that if you place an order and you know that maybe it takes 3 days to get an order out the door for some reason, and you start tracking all this together and you find, here are the delays, they're here, and why? Oh, because this system doesn't know about that, and someone's got to type that in, then we've got to manually change that, and great. How do you get that information into the other system without having to manually touch something?
Yeah, no, so that's important. But I think the other thing, and we see this an awful lot in small business there's a difference between, I think, a lot of small business owners and a lot of senior executives in large businesses. Is the senior executives in large businesses make decisions based on data.
Absolutely.
It's very analytical, it's very mathematical. Whereas in small business, people make decisions based on gut. Now, this feels like the right thing to do. My experience tells me,
yes,
et cetera, because they just can't get the data to make it happen. So are you saying by doing this, we can get the data to turn even the smallest business into a business that bases its decisions on data?
Which, yes, absolutely. Which gives you the ability to make better decisions and helps you scale faster.
And gives you the edge over your competition.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. It's a nice little short one, but I think that kind of covers that quite nicely. I think
it is, and I guess there's going to be a couple of outcomes out of this. You look at all of your systems and you go, well, which ones aren't able to talk to others, and do I have to replace that? And that can be a large project. It can.
So there's lots of things to think about here. Obviously, if you want to fix all of that, call Scott. He can help you out with that.
That's wonderful. Yes, I'll find an API to help.
Excellent. Yeah, he'll call me. But thank you so much for watching, listening, or being with us today. If you do like what you see, please give us a like, subscribe, and if you want us to discuss a topic, leave a comment, and we'll get on and discuss that. But thank you so much. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Have a brilliant day. Bye, everyone.